Hi guys, welcome to my channel Creatively Expressive. My name is Amy and today I'm sharing my third in a series of 3 snowman DIYs videos with you guys. I have some really cute ideas and I hope you guys will stick around. Now without any further ado, let's get into the video. For project number 1, I am using a black 8x10 canvas from the Dollar Tree. The first thing I am going to do is sketch out a basic snowman shape with a piece of chalk, and then some little snow hills right below him. I'm going to use some white chalk paint to fill in the 2 balls of the snowman's body. Then I will put some white paint and some light blue paint on a plate. I'm dipping my paintbrush into the white paint and adding it to the snowman. Then I'll dip that same brush into the light blue paint and add it to the same area on the snowman that I just added the white. Then I add more white to that same area and start blending the blue out to the center of the snowman. I will keep adding and playing with the 2 colors, and I am trying to focus the majority of the blue color on the right side of the snowman and gradually blend it out with the white. This will make the snowman look like he has a shadow on his right side and will make him appear less flat and give him more dimension. I also make sure to get some of the blue around the bottom of his head so that it looks like it's a separate ball from the body. I'll add some white paint over the snowy hills and then add some blue to those as well to create more shadows. And just don't be afraid to play with the colors. If you add too much blue, you can always add more white to lighten it back up. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of gray to give the snow even more shadows. I'm adding just a little bit of gray to the snowman and mainly focusing on the outer edges on the right side. And I will also add a bit to the top area of his head, right below where his hat will eventually be, so that it looks like the hat is casting a shadow on the top of his face, and then a little bit of gray to the snowy hills as well. Now that I'm happy with the way that the snowman's body looks, I'm going to paint the snowman's hat black. I fill the brim in with black paint, and then I add some gray paint into the black paint at the top of the brim to create a highlight on the brim. After filling in the main part of the hat with black, I am blending in the gray. I put most of the gray on the sides of the hat because that is where I want to focus the majority of the highlights. And then I blend out the gray towards the center of the hat with the black. And when I am adding the gray to the hat, I am making sure to curve my lines to make sure that the hat looks more rounded and dimensional. Then, to make the hat look like some snow has fallen on it, I am adding in some white paint. Now I'm taking the color Red Apple by Apple Barrel to paint on the scarf and a ribbon around the hat. I paint on one of the tails of the scarf, and then I will use the color Brown Oxide to paint on some arms. For the arms, I am just painting on some crooked lines to look like a branch from a tree. Once I have the arms painted, I will take the color black and start adding a bit to the bottom sides of the arms and fingers, and then blending it out with some more of the brown to create some shadow on the arms. Now that the arms have been added, I will add a second scarf tail. I want this tail to look like it's behind the arm, so I paint part of it above the arm and the other part below the arm. Then, to create shadow on the scarf, I add black paint to the bottom areas of the scarf and then blend it out towards the center with some more red paint. Then I will add some more black to the bottom area of the hat. and then some more white to the top of the hat to look like snow has fallen on it. I add some highlights to the red areas by adding some white to the top parts and then blending it out with the red paint. The key to blending the paint colors is to keep your paint wet. You add the highlight or shadow color and then add the main color to it while the highlight or shadow color is still wet. Now I want the arms to look like they have snow on them, so I'm adding a bit of the white paint to the top sides of the arms. And when I want the paint to look more like snow instead of just highlights, I'm not worried about blending it out like I do with the highlights. And then I will add some snow to the scarf and a bit more to the hat as well. Now I'm using some orange paint and painting on a cone shape to look like a carrot nose. And then some black paint to paint on some eyes and a mouth. Then I add some tiny white dots to the eyes and the mouth for highlights. Now I'm taking a darker shade of orange paint and blending it with the brown paint that I used for the arms to create a shadow on the bottom of the carrot nose. I paint a thin line of brown along the bottom of the carrot and then blend it with the orange and make curved lines going up towards the center of the carrot. Then for the top of the carrot, I will do the same thing, but with the lighter orange color and white instead of the darker colors. Now for the final step, I'm taking an old toothbrush, dipping it into water and then some white paint, and then flicking the watered down paint over the entire canvas by rubbing my thumb over the bristles on the toothbrush. Now this project is complete. What do you guys think? For project number 2, I found this set of 3 square candle holders at Goodwill, and I will be using the largest one that measures 7 by 7 inches for this project. I will also be using some pieces from a couple of Christmas tabletop kits from the Dollar Tree, one of these unfinished wooden stickers from the Dollar Tree, and a wooden Merry Christmas banner from the Dollar Tree. My plan is to set a little winter scene in the middle of the wood cube. And the first thing I want to do is paint all of my pieces. So of course I'm painting the snowman white. Then I will use the cinnamon color by Folk Art to paint the house. Then I will be mixing the colors Arbor Green and Shamrock Green together to paint the Christmas tree. I'll paint the little bird in the snowman's hand red, and then use some of that red to paint the Christmas banner. Then I'll paint the snowman's gloves with Shamrock Green and give him a little orange carrot nose. The snowman's scarf will be red and his hat will be black. Then I'll add just a little bit of gray to the snowman's hat as well. I'm painting the buttons on the snowman with black paint, and I started painting the balls on the Christmas tree with red, but I find it easier just to dip the handle of the brush into the red paint and then dot the red balls on. Now I'm using a black Sharpie to color the snowman's eyes and draw on his mouth. Then I will paint the roof on the house with white paint to look like snow. And I will use the color Nutmeg to outline the window and door openings on the house. Now that the little scene is all painted, I am going to use antique wax to stain the candle holder. I brush it on with a paintbrush and then wipe it off with a baby wipe. Then while that dries, I will paint the base of the tabletop set with white paint. After painting all of the pieces, I was having a little trouble putting them together, so now I'm just using an emery board to sand out the grooves on the base a bit so they will fit together. I was planning on gluing the pieces in, but it was such a tight fit that I didn't think it was necessary. Now that the scene is put together, I will use Starbond superglue to glue it to the center of the wood cube. And for the last step, I will glue the Christmas banner to the front of the cube, and then this project is complete. For project number 3, I found this Snowman Christmas Countdown at Goodwill, but it was missing the block numbers. So I'm using the blocks from this Christmas Countdown that I found at Michael's. First, I took the snowman outside and sanded all the glitter off of it. Then I am taking this piece of scrapbook paper and tracing the snowman's scarf onto it. But I make a little mistake here. Do you see the mistake? Now I cut out the scarf, and here's where I realized my mistake. I should have either traced the scarf onto the front side of the paper or turned my snowman over to be able to trace on the back of the paper. So I flipped the snowman over and traced out a new scarf. And then I cut the new one out. Now I'm tracing the snowman's hat onto another piece of scrapbook paper so that I can make a ribbon to go on the snowman's hat. And by the way, I got both of these papers at Hobby Lobby. Now I'm painting the front and the back of the snowman with white chalk paint. Then I will tape off the area around the box on the snowman because I want to paint that part with this crimson chalk paint by Waverly. Then I will tape off the hat and paint it with black chalk paint. Then I tape off the back side of the hat so that I can paint around the sides without getting any of the black paint onto the back of the snowman. Now I'm using antique finishing wax to stain the 2 number blocks. I just brush the wax on with a paintbrush and then wipe it off with a baby wipe. I thought about painting the numbers on, but then I decided it would be easier just to find a font similar to the ones on the blocks and then cut the numbers out on white vinyl. This font is not exactly the same, but is close enough for me. Then I just peel the numbers up like stickers and apply them to the blocks. And for a few of them, I stick them on a piece of parchment paper first to make it easier for placement. Now I'm using a glue stick to stick the scrapbook paper pieces to the snowman. I thought the snowman would look cute with a little bit of distressing, so I'm using an emery board to sand all the edges around the snowman. Then for the final step, I made a decal to fit on the front of the snowman that says Days Till Christmas, and I'm using transfer tape to stick it to the front of the snowman, and then this project is complete. that's it for today, but stay tuned because I have more Christmas DIYs coming out soon. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it's inspired you. If you did enjoy the DIYs that I've shared with you today, then please show me some love by subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, giving me a thumbs up, commenting, or even sharing this video with anyone that you think might enjoy it. And I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!